somebody who has built or at least benefited from something that was seen as a success. So this could be a business that they inherit. This could be just like general wealth, not necessarily actually working for that business. But I'm not gonna lie, we also have some references here to like royalty. We've got Tsar Nicholas and we've got Nero. These cards are from the Magicians, Martyrs, and Madmen tarot. So they have real life individuals for each of the cards, and both Nicholas and Nero, aside from the letter N, have in common that they were the last of their dynasty. So the last czar, the last ruler of Julius Caesar's dynasty. And even though they ended in very different ways, it's indicating that there's some sort of decline happening. There could be a business that was doing really well and provided for a family for generations that now it's, you know, kind of struggling to figure out how do we move into the next generation, or how do we maintain or even find a way to improve upon that success. There's something here that's crumbling, and it's because we've got someone who just kind of felt like, because when I got this, it was doing so well, I just assumed that it was always going to do well, right? I'm trying really hard not to make a banana stand joke, Arrested Development fans. But anyways, let's call it spirit with a little bit of wind chime time. I hope you're having a wonderful day so far. If you're interested in a personal reading, I would love to do one for you. My email address is wickedwandstarot@gmail.com. It's in the description box, as is more information on how to become a member. Let's start with, we're going to go with the Egyptian tarot. What else do we have? Good afternoon, Icy. How are you doing? Likewise. What else do we have? Knight of Chalices or Knight of Cups, 3 of Cups, 7 of Cups in the reverse, 2 of Wands in the reverse. So we have someone who is a bit inexperienced, or green behind the ears, I think is the phrase, who reaches some level of success or achievement earlier than most people. So I want to say Nero was pretty young when he passed away. I think he was like in his 30s, which is interesting because we have the number 3 here. There's something here about like I grow a little bit bored, or I feel like everything was like handed to me at a young age. I didn't really have to work for it, or I didn't really realize how complicated things could be because it didn't seem difficult in the beginning, right? Just kind of happened or fell naturally into your path. Hello, MKG. How are you doing? Hello, Sarah. What's up? But with this 2 of Wands in the reverse, this leads to somebody who doesn't necessarily have a good track record of making plans, strategizing, or being observant. We have the 7 of Cups in the reverse and the 2 of Wands in the reverse, which to me is saying, like, even though there is a clear justification for making a decision to do this or do that, we have someone who instead is being a bit stubborn and trying to avoid seeing the reality or the writing on the wall. Now, we also have some theme of protecting or being loyal to family. Not so much on the Nero side as the Nicholas side, but we do have someone here who is trying to build something or like fortify, make things more safe for somebody or some group of people that they care about deeply. 10 of Wands in the reverse, 10 of Pentacles. But it's like, do I have enough to be, like, can I protect everyone? Can I do what I need to? Which makes sense because I would be willing to bet that at some point, Tsar Nicholas, you know, questioned, like, can I actually protect my family? Is this going to be a problem? So there's some fear or concerns after initially feeling like everything was so easy at the beginning. Now it's like, I don't know, heavy is the head that wears the crown, or there's You know, a lot more moving parts than I initially realized, and feeling a little bit less in control than they had hoped. We have the King of Wands and the Eight of Wands in the reverse. This is not taking action. Even though there is this sense that something needs to happen, or maybe there's tension, maybe there's been an argument, maybe there's been some disappointing sales reports, but we have someone who's just kind of sitting there and not sure how to handle it, because they always felt like everything was just going to be like a smooth operation. Hello, Brandon. I love Euchre. Hello, Cole. How are you doing? So we have the Knight of Wands, the Eight of Cups, and the Wheel in the reverse. There is a loss or a change happening, and it's because we have someone who was ill-prepared for the leadership or not willing to be a good manager of a business. Someone who is kind of like fumbling whatever it was that was just very kindly like handed over to them on a silver platter, perhaps. Now we have somebody who is wobbling, and that tray is about to fall. Hello, Timothy. How are you doing? Oh yeah, I'm into numerology. I actually have a chart right over there. Reminds me on that, you know? So we've got the Sun in the reverse, Knight of Swords, and Justice. The problem is we have someone who is probably not showing gratitude or not appreciative of what it takes to do something successfully, because again, it feels like they were just like given a job at their family business, or handed a bunch of money. So this is saying, you know, if you don't step into those shoes, if you don't learn how to appreciate the things that are around you and make sure that you can maintain that, if instead you're like Miro and you want to just like seek pleasures and only care about yourself, then things will fall apart, right? If you have a fish tank and you don't clean it, and you know you overfeed your fish or whatever, it's going to have problems. This is someone who's not maintaining or managing a business, a family, or a situation appropriately, and therefore now there's this concern that things are going to go south and not go very well. All right, this is the Noisy Tarot. Hello, Lotus. How you doing today? I'm glad to hear that. Hey, Timothy. I don't hand out social media. I'm also not very big on social media. Hello, Charlie. Hello, Rachel. How's it going? So we have the Six of Cups in the reverse, the Three of Wands in the reverse, and the Ace of Cups. There is love and appreciation for at least one person, right? This could be someone who's very protective of their like romantic partner. Sorry, my chair is bothering me. This could be someone who's very protective of their family, much like Tsar Nicholas would have been, right? But there's still this action that hasn't been taken. I feel for most of you, this would be financial concerns. Like if I don't fix this, or if I don't, you know, find a different job or sell off this property, then I'm nervous about the financial, like, security in the future. The long term is in question, even though this person was handed, you know, a huge estate. Ah, yes, also true, Cole. Hello, Cyber Johnny. How are you doing? Hello, Antonio. How's your day? We have the Star in the reverse and the Five of Swords in the reverse. So while we have somebody who is protective or wants to make sure that their family is happy or okay or safe, This could just be the romantic interest, but I feel like for many of you there would be children or, you know, like an aunt or uncle or something involved, right? This is saying we have somebody who does not resolve what needs to be resolved. For entertainment's sake, we could say this is someone who, you know, owes money and now there's like stalking or threats or something like that that comes through. I don't wish that on anybody. But this is like there's a situation that we're not dealing with. It's causing problems for other people around the King of Wands, but they're not taking the action that they need to. Perhaps a little bit too focused on escapism or like celebrating something. We have Judgment and Seven of Wands with the Devil. Okay. If this reading is for you and you resonate with the King of Wands, this is saying there's something that you can still do to make a change in the situation so that you have less loss or fewer problems or someone who can't get access to. But we've got this individual here who seems to think that they can cause problems for the King of Wands. This could be a business, like a competitor, right? This could be an ex of someone. This could be just a hater, you know. Pretty sure both of the gentlemen at the beginning of the reading there, Nicholas and Nero, had some haters. And just a few. We have the Ten of Wands and the Ten of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, this King of Wands is being sent messages or like there's somebody trying to remind this person, like, you got to do something because this is out of whack, it's not working, or it's going to be a problem. For some of you, this could be needing to have a conversation with a teenage child about behavior. We've got Page of Cups in the reverse and the Four of Cups. It's like there's moodiness or angstiness, which is why I'm probably picking up on teenage energy. There's something here where it's like, I don't want to listen to you. I don't want to do what you say, or, you know, I'm going to be difficult about it. And it might make this King of Wands feel like, okay, well then I can't really do anything, can I? Like, I tried. Try harder. The defeatist energy won't help, but, you know, being committed to at least trying to be creative or find something that will work seems to be an important thing, right? Hey, Uncog, could you do me a favor and not spam? I feel like you could do like more than one word per message. That would be great. Please. All right, so we've got the Queen of Swords in the reverse. This is a dishonest energy. And I feel like there's proximity to the King of Wands. They have their back turned. They don't see that this is somebody who is a problem, which makes sense because Star Necklace had to deal with that, right? I don't know so much about Nero, probably a little bit, but that wasn't the final call. All right, this is the Witch's Tarot. Hey James, how you doing today? Hey Cole, we don't have to be all quick to call people idiots. Let's just live and let live. That's funny though, I did get the Fool card. There's some interesting art in this tarot deck, let me tell you. We have the Fool with the Ace of Cups in the reverse and the Four of Wands again. The Four of Wands, by the way, was the card at the very beginning that had Star Necklace on it. And it's worth noting that we also had the Emperor, which is number 4. So it could be that the number 4 is pretty important. We've got somebody who feels like they don't belong or they've been rejected with the Ace of Cups in the reverse. This is going to be probably that Queen of Swords in the reverse, and they blame the King of Wands. So that's why we're looking at this Four of Wands, right? This could represent elevation, success, things doing well. You've got what I don't have, right? So there's someone who has access to the King of Wands. They see that the King of Wands has maybe an easier life. Maybe their finances are easier to deal with. Maybe they don't have to, you know, pay for their groceries. I don't know. There's something here where it's like your life is easier and I don't like it. I'm going to do something because I'm mad about it. Six of Cups in the reverse. The Wheel of Fortune. And Justice again. I think this is coming through to say you have, if you resonate with the King of Wands, you have the opportunity to make a decision and change the path and avoid some problem here that this Queen of Swords in the reverse would like to cause you. So there was a movie I watched that had, let's see, Cate Blanchett and Giovanni Ribisi. I think it was called Heaven. And I don't want to like cause any spoilers or anything, but at a certain point in the movie, there's a well-established plan that gets completely altered. And the character says, my dad once told me that when you make a plan, at some point, you might have to do the unexpected. You have to go against the plan. And it saves this person a lot of trouble by changing that plan. So this feels to me like we have somebody who has been receiving messages or is being encouraged to change a plan or to make something safer or better. Really assess who has access, who knows about your finances, who knows about your passwords, who knows about your, I don't know, whereabouts, things like that. And if they make this change, then they're able to better protect that family member or that family. Ten of Pentacles and the Seeker. So this would be the Hermit, obviously. This is saying if you look for that other thing that you could do to build that castle wall around and make sure that your family, because Ten of Pentacles is a reference to family. It could also be about money. So this could be somebody who is protecting their business interests, right? You do have to take action. If you're this King of Wands, there's an avoidance of that action. It's like, no, it's necessary. You have to hire that lawyer or get that insurance policy, whatever it might be. Hello, Bob. How are you doing? Hello, Michelle. Thank you, Rachel. Hello, Blessed Hooks. How are you doing? This is funny, James. Hello, Shanga. How are you doing? Hello, Abdul. I hope you're having a good day. So we have Judgment. I always like to point out when they spell it correctly. We've got Judgment, the Prince of Cups or the Knight of Cups, and the Ten of Cups in the reverse. Yeah. Make a decision and you're able to protect your asset, your company, your family, whatever this is. But you have to acknowledge that there's a change or like something else that's required. It's like, you know, leveling up the membership so you don't have to see ads. This is like, it's time to do that. You gotta invest a little bit more. Hello, Vic, how are you doing? Ooh, that is going too far. Hello, Stephen, how's your day going? We have the Five of, I need Pentacles. Yes, Five of Pentacles and the Nine of Pentacles. So there is a blocked pathway that previously somebody felt was going to be a good way to go. This is very like aligned to that movie reference with Giovanni Ribisi, making a change. That's going to end up being a problem. I need to anticipate it. The Nine of Pentacles can be about your intuition. You're getting messages that, you know, maybe that was a safe passage before. Maybe that was a good place to stay before. Maybe that was the right move for your business a decade ago. But at this point, it seems like someone's being encouraged to be a little bit more bold or a little bit more ensure that things are guarded, right? Hello, Karen. How are you doing? We have the Three of Wands, the Horned One, and the King of Swords in the reverse. I can't help but laugh at this. I can't even really show it to you. Okay, I can. I just gotta block out the butts. So this deck has a fair number of art that I probably can't show on YouTube. Sorry. I'm just gonna cover up the booties. But we have the Horned One would be the Devil. And I can't help you guys. Do you know what I see when I look at this card? I see the meme with like Jesus like, which is horrible. This is the devil. All right, Three of Wands, the Horned One, and the King of Swords in reverse. Ignoring the problem won't make it go away. You have to actually do something. This is like, you know, if a vampire shows up at your house and asks to come in, are you gonna invite them in, or are you gonna be like, no, thank you? They can't come in unless you invite them, right? Maybe throw a little garlic at them. Hold up the cross that you got. This is like, you got to make sure that you're taking seriously, whoever this King of Wands is, that there is something that needs to change, that there is something that needs to be done in order to avoid calamity or loss or some sort of maybe even theft. But without doing anything, without like making any choices or adding some sort of layer of protection or hiring a bodyguard or whatever it is, this is somebody who's looking at having a potential like calamity, a problem. This is the Spanish Tarot. Is it Spike? Do you mean like from Buffy? Oh, he was my favorite. All right, what else do we have? Seven of Pentacles, Nine of Pentacles, Temperance, and the Ace of Wands. Yeah, see, we have somebody who's contemplating a secondary path. It might seem a little bit more, I don't know, complex, or maybe it's like the unexpected approach. But it doesn't require that much more work. It's like you've already gotten to the Seven of Pentacles. You do a little bit more work. You leverage that intuition. Maybe you like fix something or buy something new and have it installed, or like I said, get some additional new, like, I don't know, service protection. But we have somebody who has this ability to address whatever problem would potentially happen by being proactive and addressing that. We have the Two of Wands in the reverse. Unplanned, unexpected, not prepared. Five of Pentacles. Remember that Five of Pentacles with the blocked walkway? Another Five of Pentacles. This is like, we don't want to have these financial issues, or we don't want to feel like we're left out in the cold, or we don't have any options. Anticipate this, change that, maybe, you know, save some money or block this person who doesn't have the best of intentions. Because it does feel to me like there's someone who's two-faced, and you end up finding out that you can't trust them. So if you're already in a situation where you feel like you can't trust someone and they're part of the required process for success or for things to feel like they're in the right place, then you need to change that. Some of you may have to fire someone. Some of you may have to let go of a relationship. It might be a friendship. But with the Hermit, kind of validating that Seeker card, right? Which is also the Hermit. This is saying, I feel like you have the ability to find out this information or figure out this action that you can take. And as a result, you're able to avoid that consequence that would have been more difficult. There may be somebody here who gives you really good advice that helps you to figure out a plan. We have the Ace of Swords and the Ace of Cups in the reverse. So this feels to me like we've got the loss of trust that happened, and that's the motivator or the catalyst for this not so nice Queen of Swords in the reverse to try to find some way to mess with you. This could be a person who feels like you've threatened their livelihood because, you know, your business is better or doing more work. This could be someone who feels like you've made their life more difficult by breaking up with them, so they want to make you feel like you need to be in a relationship. But this is a lack of trust that turns into resentment and actions that are probably regrettable because there could actually be some legal consequences here. We have the Knight of Wands and the Eight of Wands, which I feel like this means acting without thinking. You know, I have this idea, it's petty, maybe I should look up and make sure that it's not illegal, but I just do it anyways. So now I have to see if the Kipper imprisonment card comes out, or I think the card's called adjudication. So let's see. Hello, Jamaica, how you doing? Hello, Malcolm. Yes, feel free to objectify the like button. So we have gift, message, and change. Gift is the intuition. I know. You were hoping that somebody was going to send you something expensive, right? This is your intuition. You have it for a reason. It is guiding you. It is telling you that there's something here that needs to change. And it could be your like physical location. Some of you may decide to move. Some of you may decide to stay at a different place when you're traveling, or get, you know, more reliable accommodations. Message of concern and courtship. I do think that there is a false message coming from someone that you feel like you can trust. It's this Queen of Swords in the reverse. It's like, I know that if I tell you this, then your reaction is going to be that. And I want you to do that. So I'm going to tell you what I know is going to make you do that. So I feel like this is a fabricated or exaggerated situation, possibly about a family member, or specifically if you have a child, it would be about a child, I feel. And this is because I know you're going to act this way, and then I can gain access, or I can, you know, figure out what's going on, or I can, you know, get the room to myself and look through your desk drawers, because we've got someone here who's interested in details, reporting, receipts. Why are they looking for that? Oh, this is somebody who wants to steal. Or this is somebody who feels like they can, you know, maybe take an idea that you have. What just flashed through my mind was the kid from Jumanji who destroyed the pair of sneakers. Thank you for telling folks, Rachel. I appreciate it. Hello, Hussein. How are you doing? This is the Gilded Reverie. Yeah, this is like a contract or a close individual, someone who's in your inner circle, but they are hiding their true intentions, or they don't want to be honest about what the like hoped for outcome is in their mind. Connections with the Bridges card. So again, could be family, could be a romantic connection, could be platonic. This is another reference to the King of Wands. We have the man without a shirt, and then we have the Mountain. So this is like, yeah, we've got some issues here. There's this problem to deal with, but I'd rather think about other things, or, you know, like, I don't want to deal with that right now. And this message is saying, yeah, that's real cute and all. I'm glad you know what you want and don't want, but you don't have a choice. Are you going to deal with this now, or are you going to let it be a bigger problem? So this is a pretty serious call to action for someone who's been avoiding that conversation or not wanting to deal with that reality. This is why I keep feeling that child energy. There could be some consideration here with regards to making sure everything is okay with someone's family, or making sure that there is enough time spent with that child. We have the Bear. Something about strength, probably mental strength. I think this is about realizing, even though it might be disruptive, even though it might be really frustrating for me, I think I need to move my family, or I think I need to make this change, or I think I need to, you know, apply to a different job because I can't trust this employer. There's some motivation tied to money that is leading to a change in plans. All right, let's see. This is the Soul Cat Tarot. Oh, I'm glad to hear that, Hussein. What else do we have? The Tower, the Star, the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse. Often the Star talks to me about like GPS location. So I feel like this is, okay, you know what? If there is a risk, if there is a problem here, if there's someone that I cannot trust, then maybe I do need to just like take a quick weekend trip or, you know, go away for a couple weekends or weeks and see what happens, because there's something here that isn't feeling right. And with the Knight of Pentacles in the reverse, we have a hint that something is wrong that needs to be taken seriously, that it could actually indicate that there's a bigger problem. King of Wands in the reverse. Anger. Ace of Swords in the reverse. Lying, deception. You need to do this because this is a problem, and I feel like that problem they're talking about is not true, and it's really, you need to change this or pay this, or you know, your company's not going to work. There's a lie here meant to motivate the King of Wands to do something they shouldn't, or to be too scared to make a decision. Four of Wands, Seven of Pentacles, and Justice in the reverse. I think the hope is that you'll be frozen in fear and as a result lose what you need to have protected. So the King of Wands is being encouraged to remember that courageous, bold energy that they have, right? Both of our first two cards have fire energy, as well as that red color on the Gentleman. So boldness, making a change, doing something to make sure that you're not surprised by the outcome, right? Four of Cups, Ten of Wands, and the Four of Pentacles. The number 4 is important. I think I've said that. We've got this ability to close out a chapter with minimal problems, or like even sidestepping something that someone was trying to cause to happen to you, a rejection, something falling apart. You're able to be like, you know what? I don't think I'm going to do that. I don't think I'm going to step on that trapdoor. I don't think I'm going to, you know, fall for your joke, or, you know, I think I'm just going to make a change. You're not going to know about it, and then you can't touch this. Hello, how's it going? Love is the trend. How are you? Hello, Becky. So we have the Three of Cups, and it's interesting because this is not normally a card that shows someone in a boat, but it does tell me that, again, we have some sort of moving to a different location. It could be as simple as, I have a really great idea for my business. I've been working on a prototype, or I've been talking to some people about what to do with it, and I need to make sure that that doesn't get discovered or found by my competitor, right? Move it to a different location, under lock and key, whatever it is. We have somebody changing something that can impact their finances and their security and possibly their business. I like to drop stuff, okay? It happens, you know? Sometimes it's the cards. It just happened. Where did you go? Dang it. Okay. I'm going to have to go back for that one. It went under the table, okay? We got Knight of Candles in the reverse, which would be the Knight of Wands in the reverse. Impulsive, reckless energy, moving too quickly. Oh, I'm so surprised to see the Fool. If you don't anticipate and change your plan because you know that there is some risk here, then you end up walking into something that you don't want to deal with, or you end up letting a problem get worse than it would have been, right? Hey, Skimmy, how's it going? Hello, Francisco. How's your day? We have the Wheel of Fortune, the King of Wands again, but in the reverse, and the Nine of Lightning, the Nine of Swords, anxiety. So if you have this anxiety, or if you know that there is this concern, if you know that there's someone you can't really trust, then the encouragement here is make a change. Do something to feel better about the situation. Hey, thank you, James. Can I pull a few cards for you? You let me know. We're already at 35 minutes. So I can switch over. Hello, Yoli. How are you doing? It's correct. Nowhere near Albuquerque. In fact, I don't think I've ever been to Albuquerque. I've heard it's cool. I just, like, I'm a water person. Desert is kind of like... I love Joshua Tree, though. That was pretty cool. We've got the Hierophant in the reverse and the Page of Lightning or the Page of Swords in the reverse. So this kind of feels like you have to follow your intuition to make a change. You might have somebody who makes a case for you to make this change and it sounds right to you, so you do it. For others of you, this is like someone tells you you're just fine, you don't have to worry about anything, but something's still bothering you and you're like, no, I feel like I need to do something more. Listen to that intuitive message. 10 of Swords in the reverse, the Hermit in the reverse, because someone here is dismissive or someone is saying that things are not what they really are, and your attention to detail or your observation skills come in handy when you're able to be like, that's not true. So now I'm starting to wonder if I've let you into my inner circle or if I've considered you like a trusted advisor when I shouldn't have, right? Exactly. So we've got the Ace of Potions, which is the Ace of Cups. Always an interesting Ace of Cups because this is depicted with like an eyeball in the potion. So it always makes me feel like there's someone who's watching. And I feel like this is a close contact. So a friend who doesn't have good intentions. Kind of like Mean Girls, where she was like infiltrating the group so that they could make fun of the group. It does feel to me like there is something here where it's like, I could potentially get some intellectual property from my competitor, or I could potentially cause some problems for my ex by letting their new boo know what happened 5 years ago or whatever. This is like, I'm gonna throw a stink bomb. I'm gonna make sure everything is awkward for people because I can. But you can avoid the stink bomb by getting out of wherever you are and going on a little vacation. When I go to LA, will my ex be bothered? I got you, James. Let's do that for you, right? Meow. This is the Bianco Nero. And thank you, Rachel, for calling attention to that. So when James goes to LA, will James's ex be bothered that James is slightly better now? Yes. 9 of Swords in the reverse. 2 of Swords, Ace of Wands. If you're in a bad situation, then the ex feels like it's easier to get more attention, more control. You have the Star and the 5 of Swords. If you're healed, how do I manipulate you? So I don't really like that. Will feelings start to resurface? Yes, but I kind of feel like this is a mixture of love and resentment. It's making me think of a situation that one of my friends dealt with where their ex came back around and made it seem like they really wanted to try again, but it was all a ruse just to make for an opportunity to break that person's heart. So it feels to me like this is manipulative in General. Yeah, Five of Wands in the reverse. You're going to make this person think a little bit, and that's what they need to do. They need to be kind of, about it, right? Yes, I think that's a good approach. Yes, thank you, Rachel. That's true. Hello, Ko. How are you doing? I'm not going to ask the last part, Vic, because I don't think YouTube would be cool with that. But if Vic's person stays on meds, will she be cool? Will she be chilled? Knight of Wands, King of Swords in the reverse, Moon in the reverse. For spurts, I don't know that this is a long-term solution. I don't know that I would put myself in this situation. So kind of trying to find a nice way to say no. I would not play with that fire. Yeah. You got to look out for yourself. And I don't say that to encourage being selfish, but don't put yourself in situations that you don't deserve. You deserve to feel trusting of that person, right? And hello, Alberto, or is it Albert? Sorry, Albert, how are you doing? Hello, Darlene. And so Becky asked, can you read yourself? I've been reading for about 35 years and can't read myself. I pretty regularly discourage people from reading for themselves. I was kind of going down the path where I was teaching how to read tarot on my channel. I did a couple videos on it, and it kind of felt like something that I shouldn't continue to invest in because it seemed like most of the folks were going to try to read for themselves. I think if you're going to try to find a resolution, you might find a friend who also wants to learn, and then you read for each other. But even that can get a little bit dicey because, you know, depending on how well people can say the thing you don't want to hear when the answers come out not aligned with what you want, right? You got to be able to find the actual truth instead of the fantasy that you want to find in that. You're welcome, Vic. All right, I'm going to leave it there, y'all. I'm going to go eat, and I hope you continue to enjoy your day. Thank you for the likes. Thank you for the subscribes, and I will see you on the next reading. Toodles.